Second.
Vote, Mr. Stein?
Yes.
Mr. Bates? Mr. Marino?
Yes.
Ms. Carnavale?
Yes.
Next up is to approve or amend the meeting minutes, August 19, 2024.
Second.
Questions or comments on those minutes? I'll call the vote. Mr. Stein?
Yes.
Mr. Bates? Mr. Greeno?
Yes.
Ms. Carnavale?
Yes.
Next up is a presentation of the financial statement. Unfortunately, Dawn could not be here this morning. She's a sick child at home. Give me a second to look over the monthly financial statement. Took me a second to get there, but I'll go ahead and go to the fund balances. All fund, beginning fund balances, August 1st, 2024, $7,214,074. Ending fund balance for all balances, August 31st, 2024, $7,490,360. The general fund, opening fund balance, $5,515,423. Ending fund balance, $5,872,972. And the land improvement, beginning fund balance of $1,698,651. And an ending fund balance of $1,678,388. Any questions on the monthly financial statement? Not to be entered into the record. Okay, moving on. Presentation of the payment report for the month of August 2024. Any questions? Bills paid in the month of August.
That Microsoft 360, that's what, a yearly?
Yeah.
And Lucas, was that payment associated with some upgrades?
No, it's not. That's for the yearly license.
Okay.
Lucas, what company do you get the licensing through?
It's MNJ Technologies.
MNJ. Okay.
Any other questions on payments? Okay, it will be entered into the record. Next up, old business, some updates on planning.
All right, so just to kind of go over, the existing capital improvements and kind of where they're at. Most of the projects are pretty much at completion. Our construction crew is still working out at the Westwoods on the trail improvements on the former Gallo property. And we also have a little bit of work to finish up at Orchard Hills when they finish up there on that project. The other project that's still primarily ongoing is the Coldwater Stream restoration at Veterans Legacy Woods. I did pull up, just for everyone kind of understand what's going on out there. This is sort of the whole area where we're doing the restoration. There's kind of three different tributaries we're working on, tributary 8, 13, And then tributary 14 is actually the cold water stream habitat that we're going to be restoring. Right now, most of the construction's been going on kind of down in this green area on tributary 8 and 13. This is just some photos. The last month or so, they've really made a lot of progress. The contractor out there. This is the lower section of tributary 13 at the top, so this is kind of where everything's tying back together, heading kind of on the south end of the environmental covenant area. And then this is looking back, I don't know if you're familiar with the former golf course, but there were two kind of irrigation ponds up in this area. So these are just some images of the stream and the floodplain restoration that's going on down through there and where the dams are removed. So it's really starting to look more like a stream and less like former ponds. And then this is tributary 8, which is kind of the other section of stream that's pretty much completed. These are all the sections of all the stream work and then some of the floodplain expansion. There's a couple grade control structures, a few waterfalls at the north end of tributary 8 where we kind of tie back into the existing stream. That was done. So just to give you guys a sense of what's been going on out there, if you haven't had a chance to get out there. But it's really, really moving along nicely, and we're hoping to have everything finished up here probably by the end of the year. So maybe a little bit of plantings next spring. So, any questions?
Thank you, Matt. And if anyone would like a tour, we can, I'm happy to show the commissioners, me and the commissioners around. So I know Jolene had the opportunity to visit the site with Paul, so we'd be happy to take you for a tour. All right. Any other questions on our projects? The goal is to start including some pictures for you during planning updates. So, Matt and staff are out and about. We can get some pictures and we can share them with you. All right. Next up, resolution, new business, resolution 5, 2024, 2024 tax amounts and rate certifications. A resolution accepting the amounts and rates determined by the Budget Commission, authorizing the necessary tax levies, and certifying them to the county auditor. You see the necessary paperwork there. And the tax rates, we collect 3 separate levy collections to the tune of 2.6 mils. 1.7 mil. 8.7 mil, the estimate for collection is $996,642. 8.9 mil, the estimate is $2,510,190. And a 1 mil, the estimate is $3,235,156. Entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Second.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Not. Call the vote. Mr. Bates?
Yes.
Mr. Greeno?
Yes.
Mr. Stein? Ms. Carnegie?
Yes.
And be sure to hang around afterwards so we get signatures on that resolution. Okay. Next up, we have a 2025 capital improvement project presentation.
So these are basically the projects that we'll be looking at doing capital improvements for 2025. Dan and Meredith have been working on some master plans, and we're kind of at the point where we have overall master plans for the projects and budgets set for the projects. And then between now and kind of the end of the year, we'll start working towards more construction drawings and everything we need, for the contractors or our construction crew to do the work next year. So we'll be looking at basically 5 different parks we're going to be doing some work in next year. Beartown Lakes, we're going to be looking at some improvements to the playground area and the shelter area. Big Creek Park, we're going to be looking at some improvements to the camping area here at Big Creek, and then also Tupelo Pond. And then Maple Highlands Trail at the north terminus where we connect to Lake Metro Parks Greenway. We're going to be looking at an improvement there. And then Fern Meadows, we have some improvements. Paul's working on some funding to do some expansion of the 2 existing wetlands out there. And as part of that, we're looking at doing some boardwalks and some work on the trails there. And then at Sunnybrook Preserve, each year we do improvements infrastructure-wise for our asphalt. So we're going to be doing some resurfacing out there. Beartown Lakes, currently we're looking at a budget of about $450,000 for this project. Beartown Lakes is about a 149-acre park down in Bainbridge Township. The main feature of the park is a 22-acre lake. We have 3 trails that total about 2.8 miles of trails in the park. And then some of the existing amenities, there's a shelter, restrooms, playground, bocce court, and for winter we have a sledding hill out there. So I think Darren and Woodry Hills are kind of the 2 big winter sledding parks. This is just some pictures of the existing conditions. There's some fishing platforms, the existing shelter, kind of the playground area, which you'll see is where we're doing a lot of the improvements for next year, and then the bocce court and tetherball. This is the master plan that Dan has been working on. We're looking at basically doing some improvements to the existing shelter, concrete, the existing roof, some things like that, kind of renovating, adding kind of a little exterior seating area with a fire pit and a picnic table for people that use the shelter, and then basically enhancing and renovating the playground area. As part of that too, we're also looking at doing kind of an overlook boardwalk area to take advantage of some views out to the lake, and then also updating the trails in this area to make them more ADA accessible. This is a rendering of kind of what we're looking at as far as some of the play elements. So basically the play is going to be focused on the age groups of 2 to 5 and then 5 to 12 are kind of those main areas. We have some swings going in, some different play elements that we've been utilizing throughout our past playground renovations the last few years, and then really creating that access along the edge of the lake there, so people can really take advantage of kind of the lake and getting out there and seeing that a little bit more, and then also working on the trails and everything in that area. Big Creek Park, like I mentioned, we're going to be looking at the camping area and then Tupelo Pond. This project, the budget is $275,000 for the improvements out here, and this is going to be a combination of our in-house construction crew and then some contracted work. This is some of the existing conditions. Tupelo Pond up in the corner there, one of our lean-tos, our campsites, and then our existing tree house that we have. For this project, we're going to be looking at adding another tree house. That was part of the original master plan done back in 2019. So we'll be adding that back in the area where the other tree house is. And then also we'll be looking at the tent pads, some of the existing trails, the lean-tos, redoing some of the roofs, some maintenance stuff like that out in the camping area. And then over at Tupelo Pond, really the main features of this project are adding a couple platforms down near the pond for fishing, and again to get access to park goers down to kind of the edge along the pond, and then a small 20 by 18 picnic shelter that would kind of be out in this area, taking advantage of some views to the pond. This area is pretty popular at lunch. A lot of people go in there to have their lunch. We have a few picnic tables, so we're just looking at adding a little amenity there. And then also, this is an aggregate parking lot, so we are looking at doing asphalt and improving that area there, kind of similar to across the street at the spur where we'll have little access points to Big Creek Park. Maple Highlands Trail North, this again is the terminus where Maple Highlands Trail meets the Greenway. This project's budgeted at about $50,000. What we're looking at here is really the existing conditions of where you kind of transition into Geauga County from Lake County. There's a sign there kind of letting you know you're on Maple Highlands Trail now. But we're looking at is just creating a little bit of a node, kind of a little area where you can pull off. We'll have a trailhead structure there so we can have a map so that way you can actually see Maple Highlands Trail North and where it extends down into Middlefield. Then looking at kind of redoing the signage, adding in some plantings, adding some benches and that. So just gives a little bit of a node where people can pull off the trail, kind of that gateway into Geauga County on that section of the trail for us. So just identifying that, you're in Geauga County now. And then Furrowing Meadows, we're looking at the expansion of the 2 existing wetlands. So there's 2 wetlands that are there. Paul's working right now on looking for some funding to expand those wetlands. And as part of that, the one wetland would expand up into the existing trail. And that's where we'd be looking at doing a boardwalk system that would have a slight elevation of up to maybe 6 feet. It would give a little bit of perspective on the wetlands and also help out with birding and nature viewing. So that's the proposed improvements out of that project. And then the last project is Sunnybrook. This project is budgeted at $70,000. Just some of the existing conditions. This is the original asphalt from when the park was opened back in 2007. So we're just looking at going in and doing a little bit of resurfacing and some improvements out there. So those are all the projects planned for next year. Dan and Meredith are here if you guys have any specific questions on individual projects.
Okay, any questions, any thoughts on amenities? Please let us know if there are any thoughts on our amenities. I think our planning department done a really good job, particularly with some of our in-house design. Those areas where people come into the park, they can enjoy, say, a picnic with their family, but then take advantage of some of our trails. Of course, none of our naturalists here, but our naturalists utilize these areas, meet with people, and take advantage of everything we have to offer. So. Good job, Matt. Thank you. Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. Meredith.
Thanks, Meredith.
Good
Oh,
job.
I'm Meredith. All right. Up next, commissioner's time. Lucas, what order do you have in set up?
Paul first.
Or Paul first? Okay. Next up, we're going to hear from Mr. Paul Peer, our park biologist, with a presentation on deer management, whitetail deer management.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for giving me a few minutes of time. We're going to talk, it's that time of year. Fall's here, and within the next few weeks, we're going to start wrapping up, or gearing up, I should say, for our archery season here at the Park District. I'm going to share with you a little bit, some notes, things like that. We're going to kind of do a tag team. Matt Neidel is our land steward. He's going to present in a few minutes on some deer data. That's pretty interesting, and of course this program wouldn't run, and credit of course to the ranger department, and Dennis may speak a little bit in a few minutes as well, and of course the administration department couldn't make it run without all those folks helping out. But so deer management is really, and the hunting program and anything in natural resource management is a balancing act. Plants and animals, we really want in the park system a fairly constant, consistent, stable system is what we're looking for in the park here. So that's a healthy community when things are stable, that things aren't changing rapidly. Unfortunately, we do have that, and that happens quite often. And that's definitely the case. I don't have to tell everyone about deer numbers and the deer populations in Ohio. Did you know that, around 1900, there were basically 0 deer in Ohio, down to nothing. And, you know, with the help of the Division of Wildlife and the government, you know, we did some restocking, I think in the 1930s, and since then, our numbers have just grown exponentially. So much so that, you know, it's obviously, you gotta watch yourself driving around this time of year and into the fall. And we definitely see things happening in the park district, in our natural areas, and Matt's gonna talk about that in a little bit, kind of the impacts of deer on our native vegetation. And yeah, these are, of course, the things that happen. We don't have to go over that too much, but I'm going to make it quick. Real quick, this is a particular plant I'll point out. This is called hobblebush, and it's a threatened species in Ohio. Beautiful native viburnum, and deer love it. And we have this at Observatory Park. The only way we really have any numbers of them is we have a big fence up around an enclosed area about 10 by 10. 8 foot tall, and the shrubs are doing quite well in there, right, Matt? They're doing pretty good inside. The only other place that I have found it, when I first discovered it out of the Observatory Park, was growing on some ledges, on rocks, where deer really can't get to it. So it's a beautiful native viburnum that wouldn't probably exist if we didn't do some protection. Long ago, we did John started these deer exposure surveys. We have fenced-in areas in the park district. Some of you may have seen these. And we've done surveys in and out before and have some data on that. We've looked at that, and we've gotten away from using those as much. We're trying a new technique, which Matt's going to share with you in a minute. Deer have, of course, been such an issue that a large organization that we belong to, the Lake Erie Allegheny Partnership, is a large consortium of many, many conservation groups, environmental groups. You have Division of Wildlife, DNR folks. They all sit on this, and we meet about once every couple of months and talk about wildlife issues, conservation issues. We have a Wildlife Conflict Committee, and we came up with years ago basically this memorandum on deer management. And all these folks signed on to it as agreeing that yes, deer are an issue, and they need to be managed basically in our park systems for natural areas and the health of our communities. So way back when, John would speak more to this,